Welcome back, guys. This is Lindsay with Garage Door Reviews. Today we are going to talk about this elliptical from Echelon. It is the EL-8S. Now, truth be told, when I initially walked up to it, I was pretty impressed. I mean, it looks really cool. It has this nice LED lighting on the side. It's not like this typical elliptical look where it's just kind of like this monochromatic color tone. I mean, truthfully, all of Echelon products have some sort of like LED lighting feature that makes them visually so much more appealing. And obviously, this is no different. Now, on the website, it does say that it has 15 different color LED lights. I was only able to count 5. Like, I don't know where the 15 was from. Maybe it was just like this slight variance in color change, like from a hunter green to like an olive green, and my naked eye missed it or something like that. But whatever the case, I still think that it looks really cool. Now, there are a couple problems that I do have with this elliptical. And honestly, if you've seen my other Echelon reviews, you know that there's been some issues I've had with those products too. But I don't think that should deter you from this product specifically. I am going to make a couple comparisons between something like the Sol E95 or the Bowflex Max M9 Trainer. I think those are comparable options, and I want to kind of go through this and ask myself, is this worth the $2,000 price tag that it has on it? Watch to the end to see what my thoughts are, but first make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Also, if you want to go ahead and purchase this, use the link below the like button. When you do use that link, it doesn't cost you anything extra, but it does give us a small commission. And lastly, this was sent to us by the company. However, as always, this is an honest review. Okay, so when I first hopped on this machine, I actually could not get the screen to work. This is kind of my first worry or concern. I turned it off, I turned it back on, I unplugged it, I plugged it back in. I looked for an update. I tried this all like 3 times and could not get it to work. Finally, Sam came in, and listen, I don't want to give him credit here because he did all of the same things that I did, but he got it to work. So I don't know what happened. But that was something that did worry me because I've had problems with some Echelon products in the past with programming or other little things that kind of just been like not ideal. And so when I came in and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually so excited. This is a cool looking machine, but couldn't get the screen to work initially. That was a concern. However, we were able to get it up and running, and since then we've had no issues. Now, the programming itself is pretty decent. There are a lot of class options. Now, you have different class options within the elliptical programming, but then you also have like strength classes, stretch classes, and then hit classes that you can go ahead and choose from. All the classes are integrated on this 22-inch HD touchscreen. The touchscreen was really responsive, and then it has 3-watt speakers at the bottom of this screen. It was actually pretty quality. I was actually really impressed by it. One call out that I have with a lot of treadmills, a lot of ellipticals, a lot of different machines is that they say like, oh my gosh, this sound quality is so amazing, and you can hear the instructors and you can hear the music, and then you get to use it and you end up just wanting to turn it off because either the instructor isn't very loud or the music's too quiet, whatever it is. This programming, I felt like the sound mix was actually really great. I could hear the instructor as well as the music that was playing on the background. One thing that really did impress me about this machine was its overall smoothness. Now, while I say that, I can also say that the screen wobbled a little bit. So it wasn't like that it was the most sturdy machine. But when I compare it to something like, again, the Sol E95, I don't feel like it was any different. And the Sol E95 is a similar cost point with similar programming options. So in that case, I do feel like they're very comparable. However, with this one, I felt like it was smoother than the E95. They have large foot pedals that are also adjustable. Now, here's kind of like my second kind of semi-concern about this. It does have adjustable feet, which if you know, like that is going to be great for those struggling with any sort of like ankle mobility. It can take pressure off your knees while you're using the machine. It has this interesting mechanism of how you actually operate the foot pedal, okay? So most of the times when we see an adjustable foot pedal with an elliptical, it's almost like this pop and lock, just kidding. Pop and lock situation where you pull out the tool pen or the rod and then you click it back into place after you've adjusted the foot. With this, it's like this long rod, like this long screw where you just turn it, and as you are turning it, it will actually raise or lower the level of the foot pedal. Now, one concern that I do have is there's no sort of locking into place, and it's not like it tightens. So if you are wanting that foot pedal to just go midway, it just kind of is there. There's no way to lock it into place. And my fear would be, as you're continuing using it, maybe not initially, but if you are somebody who's going to be using this a ton, that's going to loosen over time, not stay as tight, and you're going to lose the ability to have all those levels of degrees that the pedal currently offered. Like I said, this is an ultra smooth machine. One thing that I didn't love is that while I was using, the screen did seem to move a little bit. Now you can adjust the screen to be lower or higher depending on what height you are while you're using it, but still, no matter like where I set the screen, it did shake a little bit. It just was more annoying. I wasn't concerned about like the durability of the machine or the durability of the screen, but it was just kind of this like annoying feature because I have this 22-inch touchscreen in my face. It's really the only thing I'm able to look at, and it's like kind of wobbling side to side of it, which just makes it, again, just like kind of annoying. All of the classes on the programming are a little bit shorter. They're around 10 to 15 minutes, although I did feel like the instructions were really clear. I felt like all of the instructors were really knowledgeable. I had a good time taking the class. I definitely had a burn in my quads and my glutes while I was using it. I was able to get my heart rate up. They did a good job of mixing the incline as well as the resistance and then bringing it back down. So if you are looking for a low impact workout that doesn't take up a lot of time, I do think the Echelon programming on the elliptical particularly is actually pretty good. This does come with a wireless charging station. This is kind of another minor call out that I do have. It's just something to be aware of. Now, I have a case on my phone that isn't a MagSafe case, but I use a wireless charger at night when I'm charging my phone, and I've had no problems with that. But when I went to use it with this wireless charger on the machine, it would not charge unless I took my case off of it. Now, Sam was able to use it. He does have a MagSafe case, so maybe there is a difference, but I would say just know going into that if you don't have a very specific case that does work along with wireless charging stations, that it is something to be aware of because you might need to take your phone out of the case in order to use it. And even Nathan, who just tested this, has a case that says it's MagSafe compatible on the website that he got it from, and he's not able to use the wireless charging station with the case on it. So again, not the biggest deal. You are spending $2,000 on a machine, so it is something to be aware of because all of those little details do end up mattering. I mean, you might say like, that doesn't matter in my case, and so great, like get the machine. But if a wireless charging station is important to you, it's definitely something we want to call out. With this EL-8S, it does have 15 levels of incline along with this machine, and so that's pretty decent. It's not the highest that we've seen. It's definitely not the worst. It also comes with 32 levels of magnetic resistance. I don't think this is the best resistance I've ever experienced. It's pretty good. I mean, you can definitely tell a change between like level 0 and level 32 for sure, but it wasn't something like I've experienced with other machines where I'm like full force max effort trying to push down the pedal and it's barely budging. This was not the case. Like I was still able to move it through even though I had it at that top 32 levels of resistance. So overall, do I wish the resistance were better? A little bit, but again, like, am I going to even use the machine if I can barely push the pedal down? Probably not. This is a bigger machine at 81 inches in length, 27 inches in width, and then 67 inches in height. Now, when we compare to other ellipticals, like it feels really similar in size. However, it just feels so tall to me. And that I think is because the screen sits up so high. Just make sure going into it before you purchase it, you have the available space for it. Another thing to consider with any elliptical is make sure you have the ceiling height. So if you are somebody especially going to put this in their house or maybe in their basement, then make sure you have the ceiling height available, because if you are 6'3", and this sits up higher, especially if you're going at an incline, like your head might come close to the ceiling, and that's something you want to be aware of. Now, this does feel heavy to me for whatever reason. It is 228 pounds. We went ahead and measured what the feel weight of this was, and it said it was around 90 pounds. It felt heavier to me for some reason. I was still able to move it, but I would say that if you cannot safely deadlift at least 100 pounds, you're probably not going to be able to move this machine around from room to room quite frequently because, again, it just feels heavy. Now, with this, it also has a weight capacity of 325 pounds. This is up there. I mean, industry standard is 300 pounds, so 325 pounds is definitely above that standard and higher than a lot of other ellipticals that we see. On their website, it has an average rating of 4.7 stars, but that only comes from 3 reviews. The first 2 gave it 5 stars, the last one gave it 4 stars. The person who gave it 4 stars said that this is overall a solid machine, one that they got a good workout in, but they complained about the screen. They also complained about the overall heaviness of this machine and the fact that it does take up a larger floor space. So again, nothing major, but just something to call out and be aware of. I would actually agree with that 4-star rating. I definitely don't think that this is a 5-star product, but I do think that it is good enough to give that 4 stars because this machine does function really well. I like the programming on it. I like the look and design of it. I like the smoothness of it. There are just kind of like some minor little things I would change about it in order to give it that 5-star rating. With this, you are going to have to purchase a membership in order to use the machine. Now, there are a couple different options. So you can do the $11 a month, and that is just your basic membership programming. Or you can do the $39 a month and have your premium membership. One of the benefits that comes with a premium membership to Echelon is the fact that they're going to tack on an extra 5-year warranty on your machine. Now, that sounds great, and I think that actually it would be worth it because the machine itself only comes with a 1-year warranty, which is pretty dang low, especially when we compare to other warranties for treadmills, ellipticals, bikes, out on the market today. You can go ahead, save yourself a little bit of money if you want to pay that membership fee all up front, and then it breaks down to like $3.99 or $33 a month. So whatever way you want to go about it, I mean, personally, if you have the cash to pay up front, I say do that and save yourself a little bit of money. Is this my favorite elliptical? Probably not, but would I recommend it? Yeah, I think I would. I think that it is a decent machine. Again, the smoothness of this machine and the classes on the elliptical Echelon program particularly, I thought were really well done. And so I would say if you are looking for an elliptical and you are looking for something that looks cool, has nice features, and has great programming, I say go for it. Let us know if you try this in the comments below. This has been Lindsay with Garage Review. Peace.